I woke up after doing a ritual to the Holy Guardian Angel. I woke up with this vivid memory of this guy with a long white beard, long white beard, like Mr. Natural. It was an old white man, looking rather like Jehovah in the illustrated Bible, writing on a blackboard things about time that I was supposed to memorize. Sirius is very important to you. And I went to the town library and looked up Sirius and all the astronomy books. And I found out July 23rd is the day when Sirius seems to rise behind the sun seen from Egypt in the beginning of what they call the dog days. Why did I have that dream on a day connected with Sirius? What had I invoked? It influenced my way of experiencing the world.
Completely.
And there were flashes of psychic ability which to a degree I never had before or since. Well, let's say I believed it passionately for a couple of months. Then I began to have doubts, and then suddenly I had this flash of insight about 2.5 years later. My God, this is the same sort of thing that's been called by different names in different traditions. Because it's been going on all over the world for centuries. And every shaman has an ally, and I was an apprentice shaman. I had to find an ally, and I found one. Boy, did I find one.
Chapel Perilous is a stage in the magical quest in which your maps turn out to be totally inadequate for the territory, and you're completely lost. And at that point, you get an ally who helps you find your way back to something you can understand. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you've got for the rest of your life, you got this question, was that ally a supernatural helper, or was it just part of my own mind trying to save me from going totally bonkers with this stuff? And the people I know who've had that kind of experience, very few of them have ever come to an absolutely certain conclusion about that. The puka plays the same role as the holy guardian angel in Kabbalistic magic, or the extraterrestrial in the Whitley Strieber type experience, or the ghosts of dead relatives speaking through a seance in 19th century spiritualism, or Ramtha speaking through Jay-Z night. These are all different metaphors for basically the same experience.
I spent 1.5 years at least half believing that I was in telepathic communication with a higher intelligence from the Sirius double star system. As a matter of fact, I still believe that every Thursday for 2 hours in the afternoon. No, not really. I'm completely cured of that one. I'm still an optimist, though. In the age of George Bush, that's roughly equivalent to thinking you're talking to intelligent dogs. Of course, there was no confusion in 1973 about giant rabbits and extraterrestrials. That was only temporary. You might say it hasn't ended yet. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I like the giant rabbit from County Kerry because there's no chance anybody will take that literally. Anything else I say they might take literally.
How about yourself?
So that's another reason I like the giant rabbit from County Kerry. I'm not going to take him literally. Well, not too literally. Sorry about that, Ari. My cosmic schmuck principle holds that if you occasionally notice that you've been thinking or acting like a cosmic schmuck, you will become less of a cosmic schmuck. And the more often you notice that you're thinking and acting like a cosmic schmuck, the less of a cosmic schmuck you become. On the other hand, if you never suspect you might be thinking or acting like a cosmic schmuck, you will remain a cosmic schmuck for the rest of your life. E prime is English without the use of any form of is or being.
We're trapped in linguistic constructs. All that is metaphor. I believe somebody said that before me. I've decided we can't get beyond words. What we got to do is get more cynical about our words. You'll find that by dispensing with is and trying to reformulate without is, you just naturally fall into the kind of expression which is considered acceptable in modern science. Also, it's the type of consciousness that Zen Buddhism tries to induce. Using E prime, you will understand modern science and Zen Buddhism both a lot better than you've ever understood them before. Martin Gardner has written a long essay proving that to think like this will destroy your mind. I think it adds tremendously to clarity. I am removing the is from my writing more and more. Removing it from your speech is even harder. Instead of thinking the grass is green, to think the grass appears green to me. And this saves me a lot of time, by the way. I don't get embroiled in arguments like Beethoven is better than Mozart, or rock is better than soul. I define such things as meaningless. And so people get into arguments like that. I just say, well, Beethoven seems better to me than Mozart most of the time. But I don't say Beethoven is better than Mozart. I return to E prime in my thinking whenever I find myself getting angry at somebody or feeling depressed or hopeless or having negative emotional states in general. Once you put them in, once you take out all the is's out of all your negative statements, you find out they're all relative to how you feel at the moment. People would, by and large, act the hell a lot more sanely, and especially if they, when they got rid of is, they put maybe in more sentences. I think if everybody used maybe more often, the increase in general sanity would be absolutely, it would seem absolutely astonishing and completely flabbergasted everybody. What the hell is this? We suddenly got a planet full of sane people? When did that start to happen? I didn't even notice it. You just listen to the craziest people on the news and on television, or the craziest columnists in the newspapers. You notice they never say maybe. They're always quite sure, and they always know is. And they never say seems. They always say is. I'm continually astonished at all the people in the world who think they have the answer to everything. None of them ever suspect they might be cosmic schmucks and have the wrong answer. And I find the only explanation that makes sense to me is in Korzybski's Science and Sanity. These people don't know how to use language properly. They're using language in an overly dogmatic way, which sets their brain into overly dogmatic modes. So they think dogmatically, they perceive dogmatically, they even smell dogmatically, they hear dogmatically. They're locked in a trap of fixed neurosemantic circuits in their brains. Whereas knowing I'm a cosmic schmuck, I always think of at least 5 alternatives. When people start arguing about words, they're mostly arguing about whether the words that they apply to the objects they have created out of the infinity of possible objects that could be put together. They've picked up a few of them, and then they put words on them, and then they quarrel about the words. And if these people get to the stage where they're willing to kill one another over the words, they should be put in a nice quiet home in the country with kindly doctors and beautiful nurses and good sedatives. But generally they end up in government mansions and start bombing one another. Or they lead religious crusades for the true faith and kill one another with swords or some such thing.
Pope Bob might have a consistent message in his work. Does he have a consistent message? Maybe. Maybe that's the message. Nothing is truly consistent. There are no absolute yeses or absolute nos. There are probabilities and strong maybes and weak maybes. But maybe if we all said maybe more often, the world might be a saner place. Pope Bob has certainly been able to weave a certain magical spell using nothing but logic And what is logic, you ask? Why, nothing but magic.
As Ezra Pound writes in one of the latter cantos, the water bug's mittens show on the bright rock below him. Duh, interaction. You don't have the water bug's mittens on the bright rock without the water bug, the rock, and the sun to cast a shadow. And of course you need a planet that will produce a water bug and a rock, and you need human eyes to see it all. That's Tao De, interacting processing.
One of the introductory koans in Zen Buddhism. Who is the great magician who makes the grass green?
Who is the master who makes the grass green? Who creates every reality of experience? The word yoga means union. Yoga comes from the same root as the English yoke, two things hitched together. And you need a human brain. Dogs see grass differently. After all, you need a human brain and you need the grass hitched together to make the yoga, which we call the greenness of the grass. Everybody thinks it's very hard to be a mystic. You got to go through a hell of a lot of effort to realize your union with everything. But actually, you're experiencing your union with everything all the time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be experiencing anything. You make the grass green. You make your highs and you make your lows. But you don't do it alone. You're making it out of your union with the universe. And so everything is a coincidence of contraries. It's a coincidence of you being there and the universe being there. And everything is one at the same time, because there's no green without the grass and there's no green without you. So the greenness is a transaction that ties you and the grass together.
There's an infinite expanse of signals flooding into our nervous system and being processed by a higher neural centers in the brain. We're all organizing and orchestrating it according to our own particular life history, our genetic background, our early imprints, our conditioning, our learning, and any re-imprinting techniques we may have learned since then. So we're all living in different worlds. It's astonishing that we can communicate at all.
But you are the co-creator of the sights you see, the sounds you hear, and your general impression of the universe. Our experience is generated by us. We're not generating it out of nothing, but we are generating it. We are creating the reality tunnel we're experiencing from moment to moment. So there's a total unity between you and the universe, whether you're aware of it or not. The universe you live in is your creation. But you're not doing it consciously.
When you have seen the one who makes the grass green, it's like meeting your own father in a crowd. You'll have no doubt whatsoever.
Nasruddin went galloping through Baghdad one day on his donkey. He went up every street and into every alley and across every plaza, galloping all over every place he could go, an unending race and hunt and search. Everybody got curious, everybody come out of their houses and they were all yelling, Nasruddin, Nasruddin, what are you looking for? And he yelled, like, I lost my donkey and I'm looking for it. See, the donkey represents what everybody is looking for who enters a mystical school. It's the answer to all the riddles of the universe. And you hunt for it east, west, north, south, up, down, everywhere you can imagine. All the time it's carrying you around. It's the human nervous system which takes out of the infinity of the universe the little reality tunnel that you consider reality, which is your creation and which you think is the whole of the universe. Unless you've been through a Sufi school or studied general semantics or did a lot of Zen meditation or dropped LSD once or twice, then you realize the universe is much bigger and more complicated than any little map we can make of it. The map is not the territory. The words that describe the map are not the territory, even further from the territory. What I've been doing is trying to put the donkey on your back in such a way you'll never forget. The master, the great magician who makes the grass green, the one who creates the whole universe you live in.
Interacting processing, Tao De. That's all I tune in, interacting processing. No nouns anywhere. Never met a noun yet.
I often thought of myself in terms of that old Chinese proverb, the wise are The wise become Confucian in good times, Buddhist in bad times, and Taoist in old age. I've always had a lot more sympathy for those three